Good Thursday morning and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to Keep Her Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 16 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over into weather because the turkey trot's this morning, Jefferson. So
yes.
What can we expect?
Rain showers are moving into the forecast area already. The turkey trot is going to be damp for both Yakima and the Tri-Cities. And in fact, today is just going to be an overall damp day in general. Now, I'm not going to call it a stormy day. Winds are going to stay pretty light despite the precipitation that is rolling into our area. So it's certainly not a big storm by any stretch of the imagination, but 2025's Thanksgiving will certainly be marred by a fair amount of rainfall. Now, as we do go into tomorrow, we are still going to be looking at some pretty wet weather on Black Friday morning if you're trying to get out and get any of those doorbuster sales. But by tomorrow afternoon, we are going to be looking at primarily dry weather in our forecast area, and then there will be a few shower chances this weekend. We will discuss all three of these in more detail coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Grant County. A suspected shooter is in jail after a man was shot Tuesday night in Moses Lake. Deputies say the incident happened at around 10:15 Monday night in the 4700 block of Stratford Road. Two men, one 23 years old, the other 28, were parked inside a car, and they say the older man shot the younger one. Deputies arrested the suspected shooter, who's now facing first-degree assault charges. He was booked into the Grant County Jail, and the shooting victim was taken to Samaritan Healthcare in Moses Lake with non-life-threatening injuries. In Kennewick, police need your help identifying a man who robbed a gas station at gunpoint. According to officers, just after 6 a.m. on November 16th, a man wearing all black pulled out a gun while at a gas station at West Deschutes Avenue and North Columbia Center Boulevard. Police say after he robbed the business, he fled on foot, running through an adjacent apartment complex and through a nearby neighborhood around West Deschutes Place and North Louisiana Place. Police ask if you have any information or surveillance video to contact them on their non-emergency number. And the two men accused of being involved in a shooting at a Pasco bar last year, sending several to the hospital, now know how long they'll spend in prison. A quick refresher, though, the incident happened on May 18th of last year at the La Cantina bar. Eduardo Miranda Salazar and Jesus Martinez Lopez were causing a disturbance as the bar was closing. Lopez Martinez went to get an assault rifle from the trunk of a car, and shortly after, another man grabbed his own gun and confronted the two. Gunfire was exchanged. One man hit 10 times in the arm, hands, and stomach and was rushed to the hospital. Miranda Salazar arrived not long after, suffering from a gunshot wound to the groin. Now, yesterday, Miranda Salazar and Martinez Lopez were sentenced after being found guilty of first-degree assault and unlawful possession of a firearm. Miranda Salazar was sentenced to 34.5 years in prison, while Martinez Lopez was sentenced to just over 62 years. They will also be ordered to pay restitution, but the amount has yet to be determined. Both men have filed appeal notices. And the Yakima Police Department social media team posted about a 2022 cold case they hope to make some progress on. KMA's Ty Therian has more on the case and how you can help.
3 years ago, a 21-year-old was shot and killed in downtown Yakima. The shooting was a drive-by while heading northbound on Yakima Avenue. Mike Blankenbaker, officer for the YPD in the Cold Cases Unit, explained the known information about the victims.
On September 16th, 2022, at approximately 9:15 p.m., a drive-by shooting occurred at 1st Street and Yakima Avenue. 21-year-old Yaelin Areola and two male passengers were stopped in traffic at 1st Street and Yakima Avenue, northbound. They were in a silver 2014 Audi.
Officer Blankenbaker went on to describe the suspect's car and where they fled.
A gray Infiniti vehicle also stopped in traffic next to them. They fired several gunshots into the Areola vehicle. Miss Areola was struck by these gunshots, as were one of her passengers. The suspect vehicle, the gray Infiniti, fled the scene, going west on Yakima Avenue.
The Yakima Police Department shares these cold cases in an effort to show the victims' families that they have not been forgotten. The YPD social media pages post one video a month detailing a different cold case, with who was affected, where it happened, when it happened, in an effort to get any crucial information submitted to the police department regarding these cases.
Miss Areola passed away, but her passenger survived with injuries. Blankenbaker urges the public that any information may be essential in solving this case.
Miss Areola died of these wounds she received. The passenger was treated for his injuries. The Yakima Police Department are asking for any information related to this incident. Your help would be greatly appreciated.
If you have information, please call the Yakima Police Department, Crime Stoppers, or the Cold Cases Hotline. Reporting for Action News, I'm Ty Therian.
And as more people hit the roads to travel for the holidays, law enforcement officers are also seeing more people choosing to drive under the influence. Just last weekend, there were more than a dozen people arrested for DUIs in the Tri-Cities. Washington State troopers say it's okay to have a good time, but it is never okay to get behind the wheel impaired.
People will go out, they only anticipate having 1 or 2 drinks, and before you know it, they're impaired, way above the legal limit, and the buddies or the people that they're with are also impaired. So we want to make sure people have a plan in place.
Now, many rideshare apps and taxi services will let you order your ride in advance. Although those options aren't free, they pale in comparison to the thousands of dollars a DUI could cost you. Benton County Fire 1 crews are still working to put out a fire that sparked last night. At around 6:45 p.m., crews were called out to East Jacobs Road near I-82 for a fire in the area. Crews arrived to a double-wide manufactured home engulfed in flames and threatening other structures. Not much is known at this time, though the sheriff's office says the only person inside was able to evacuate. There's been no updates since last night. Now, many of you have already started preparing for your Thanksgiving feast, and firefighters want to remind you to be safe while you cook. According to the National Fire Protection Association, cooking fires account for nearly 50% of all house fires nationwide, and that remains true even here in the Tri-Cities. Just last week, Kennewick firefighters responded to a house fire that started in the kitchen.
The biggest tip we can give to people is make sure they're not leaving their cooking unattended, especially if they are doing anything involving oils. Making sure that we're constantly attending those activities, keeping children away, and keeping other flammables away from all of that cooking as well.
Now, firefighters say no matter what you choose to cook, make sure you follow those steps and keep safety in mind so you can keep fires out of your Thanksgiving plans. And it wouldn't be Thanksgiving in the Tri-Cities if we didn't talk about the annual Red Cross Turkey Trot. Soon, hundreds will be lacing their shoes to take part in the race at Columbia Park, or have already done so, depending on when you're watching this. And it was all to support local families in our community impacted by house fires. KEPR's Aiden Whitaker is braving the morning and joins us now with more. Aiden?
Line right here behind me, and in Columbia Park, but it's about more than just having a good time. Now, the race raises funds that allow the Red Cross to respond in the event of an emergency to support people who at times may have nothing left but the clothes on their backs.
Those people that experience a home fire, our team's going to respond and help them with connection to resources, give them referrals to things, help replace medications or medical equipment that might have been lost, and financial assistance.
Funds are also used for fire prevention, including fire alarm installations and education. So far this year, the Red Cross has raised over $100,000 that will go right back into our community. Now, if you haven't registered for the race yet, don't worry. You can register this morning starting in about 30 minutes here at the east end of Columbia Park. I'll be here, and I know several members of our crew, including our very own Dave Furtado, plan to take part. We would love to see you. Live here in Kennewick, Aiden Whitaker. Back to you guys in the studio.
KEPR's Aiden Whitaker, thank you. And Dave Furtado, that's me.
Yes.
I'm going to be running that race. Am I going to get wet, Jefferson?
Yeah, potentially. I would say that for folks that are going to be participating in the Turkey Trot, wet weather is on the way. Yakima is already very soggy this morning. I've gotten a couple of viewer emails. Now, again, we understand that you can watch this at any time of the day. That is the beauty of KEPR Quick. But this morning, at the time of this filming, this is the live Doppler radar. We're already seeing that rainfall moving into our viewing area. And in fact, we're all going to be picking up rainfall as we go throughout the course of this Thursday. Thanksgiving 2025 will be remembered because of the widespread wet weather across the viewing area. Also, I want to draw your attention to this blue color. That is snow falling in the Cascades. Now, in general, we're not anticipating terrible travel weather today. Snow levels are going to be quite high this afternoon, but for this morning, we are looking at some travel impacts, namely over Stevens and White passes, where traction tires are right now advised over both of those passes. Snoqualmie Pass is seeing no restrictions this morning, and in general, we should be looking at, again, fairly easy traveling through the passes by the time we do get to the afternoon hours. Now, something else we are continuing to track this morning at the time of this filming, areas of very dense fog. We're down to 0.2 of a mile of visibility right now in Walla Walla, down to around a mile of visibility in Hermiston, and seeing 0 miles of visibility in the Lexington-Heppner area. I would just note that as we go into tomorrow morning, we once again could be looking at areas of dense fog, so that is something to keep in mind as you are going to be starting your Black Friday. Maybe you're going to be heading out early to get some doorbuster deals. Again, just keep in mind that possibility of some dense fog tomorrow morning. For this afternoon, here's what you can expect. Again, widespread rainfall today. Highs will reach the mid-40s in the Tri-Cities, low to mid-40s for the Yakima Valley today. Highs will crest in the upper 30s to low 40s in the Kittitas Valley, with mid-40s coming today for the Blue Mountain foothills, with clouds and rainfall in abundance. Now let's just look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast as we go into this afternoon. Widespread rainfall across the viewing area. As I've already mentioned several times, this rain is going to stick with us through the evening hours, through the overnight hours, and even through Friday morning. But by Black Friday afternoon, a vast majority of us will be dry. The exception will be for the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills, where showers potentially may persist through the day on Black Friday. As we go into Saturday, there's going to be a rather paltry storm system that skirts through our forecast area. Just a slight chance of showers for most of us, although the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills will be a bit wetter on Saturday. And in fact, there is a good chance of maybe some snow, if not rain and snowfall, in these general areas. So that is something to be mindful of on Saturday, that even Walla Walla and Pendleton could be looking at some snow mixed in with the precipitation. Sunday and Monday will likely be dry, but then by the time we get to the overnight hours Monday and into Tuesday, that is when our next weather maker is going to be entering the inland northwest. It is late November. Typically in November and early December is some of our most active weather we see all year, and that is certainly verifying for this 2025. Right now, I'm going to toss it back over to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. And now that the holiday is finally here, folks can hopefully avoid any last-minute grocery runs. But yesterday, Ray's Market Fresh on Summit View was prepared for a busy shopping day. KME's Aiden Connor caught up with the store's president about this year's Thanksgiving top sellers.
Ray's Market Fresh IGA, Yakima's local food store, was prepared for a busy Wednesday as Thanksgiving Day approaches and families shop for their Thanksgiving dinner necessities.
Yep, Thanksgiving, or the day before Thanksgiving, is always one of the busiest days of the year. Tons of people out and about today. So.
As expected, store president Chris Brown says that the popular Thanksgiving meats have been a top seller, with few remaining, as well as numerous goods in the produce section.
Well, it's the usual Thanksgiving stuff, whether it's a ham or a turkey, and you got to have the pumpkin pie to go with it. You got to have salad. It's the beginning of orange season. There's lots of great produce too. So.
Brown emphasized the importance of shopping at your local grocery stores and working to support local businesses that provide Yakima with pristine local products.
You should always shop local. Supporting local businesses in Yakima is what keeps Yakima healthy.
He says that the food shopping festivities are long from over, and even believes that Christmas can bring an even larger crowd to the store.
The day before Thanksgiving is one of the 5 busiest days of the year. Thanksgiving is, they always tell us, is the biggest food holiday of the year, but I think Christmas takes it out usually. So.
Yeah. Brown says that the traditional Thanksgiving items like ham, turkey, cranberry sauce, ingredients for stuffing, and others are very prominent on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but that with Christmas coming up, we could see some variety. Reporting for Action News, I'm Aiden Connor.
Aiden Connor, thank you. On the heels of Thanksgiving, though, is Christmas, and the Valley Mall's ice rink, a focal point of the winter celebrations from now until the new year, was scheduled to open yesterday. However, we learned from mall management that the rink opening is delayed. They still hope to open on Saturday, but it may have to wait until Monday. This year's rink will be indoors, taking over the space just vacated by the Halloween decor store. We'll keep you updated on when the ice rink will be open for skaters as we get further updates. And take a look at this. The Benton Franklin Fair gave a generous donation to help local cancer center prevention efforts. Local cancer prevention efforts. Can we scroll up? We'll just redo that. Can we just come out and then we'll do that again? Sorry, folks. Yeah. All right, perfect. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And check this out. The Benton Franklin Fair gave a generous donation to help local cancer prevention efforts. More than $10,000 was raised through the fair's Tough Enough to Wear Pink program. The fair holds multiple fundraisers throughout the year, including that one where folks are encouraged to wear pink to raise awareness about breast cancer. The funds go to multiple health care organizations in the area, and this year they went to Grace Clinic, the Prosser Memorial Hospital Foundation, and the Tri-Cities Cancer Center Foundation. Over the course of 17 years, the Benton Franklin Fair has donated more than $234,000 to support local breast cancer battles. Finally, the election held on November 4th has now officially been certified by county auditors across the state. In the final results published in Yakima County, there were no last-minute surprises or changes to the previously declared results. And potentially the most controversial race on the ballot for the City of Toppenish Council was Position 4. Laura Canfield was elected to the seat by a margin of 10 votes. Her opponent, incumbent Ron Hull, had unofficially withdrawn from the race and declared he would not accept the seat should he win. In early results, just 2 votes separated the two candidates, but Canfield won with 186 to Hull's 176. And in terms of turnout, Yakima County's was just at 27% with 37,114 ballots processed. That was the second lowest county turnout in all of Washington state, just ahead of Franklin County's 24%. In Benton County, just under 44,000 ballots were returned for a turnout of 32%. Walla Walla up next with 37% turnout. Kittitas County had the highest in our area with 42% turnout. 13,500 people returned a ballot there. Now, all the results can be found up on the Secretary of State's website or on your county auditor's website. But that does it for us. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites. It's keeperandkimatv.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a fantastic Turkey Day, everybody.